Now let's take a look at violin plot using ggplot2 library. So first thing, we open Studio, and within that we will be calling for this dataset warp breaks, right? So what we can do is we open this script option, then we will simply use warp breaks, right? And if I run this, it should show me the data. So if I click on it, it should show me 3 columns, each containing 53 observations. So total 3 variables with 54 observations, including the number, right? So here you see the last one, 54, right? So library ggplot2. So I will have to run this as well, right? So we have library ready. We can use ggplot function and call warp breaks. In next line, I can use AES, set our x-axis for tension, y for breaks, and at the end of ggplot I can call for geom underscore violin. So this function should draw basic violin chart, right? We can also flip it horizontally if we want, right? To do that, I can simply concatenate new function, name coord underscore flip, right? And if I run this statement again, it should flip the chart as well, right? So now if I want to avoid trimming the trails, I can simply use trim set equals to false. Let me go with lowercase trim. So trim set to false. I can run this statement and we get our trail which is not trimmed, right? So we can also add quantiles and we draw them within our geom violin method. So I can remove the quad fill, right? So here I will be using draw underscore quantiles. So here we can give it some value 0.25, 0.5, and say 0.75, right? So if we run this, we get our quantiles drawn on our violin chart, right? Then we can also add a box plot, but we will have to concatenate that with geom underscore box plot. So it should appear in a box plot. So if I select this and run this, it should get its own box plot inside the violin plot. So what we have seen so far is we managed to draw the basic violin plot, then we flipped it horizontally. We also reduced the trim and by setting it to false, then we added quantiles, also added box plot, right? Like this I can also select custom bandwidth, right? So for that I can think of adding bandwidth in place of quantiles. So bw set to C10, right? And width of box plot I can set to 0.07, right? If I run this, it should show me some output. Okay, so there seems to be additional bracket, so I adjusted that, and we have box plot inside violin, but this time it is not taking whole of violin, right? It will only show up to the width assigned to it. Right now we can also add color to this. right? To add the color, we can use, instead of this Y breaks, we can add one thing which should take our tension, right? So X should get a feel, and if I run this particular statement, we get our violin chart with 3 different colors: red, green, blue, right? So the only change after break would be fill set to tension. So the data related to tension would be getting the fill, right? So what we have managed to do here so far is we have drawn the violin plot, which is using ggplot, right? Second, we flipped it horizontally, we didn't trim the trails, set it to false, then we added quantiles, then added box plot, then managed the width of box plot along with bandwidth of violin plot, and finally managed to fill the color in violin plot. Okay, so there is one more data set that we can try out. Here you can see I have warp breaks. I can change this to, let's see, a different data set. So let me close this and type in data, and within double quote you can see diamonds, right? So this should show me some data, right? So if I run this, let's see, if I select it and run it, it should show me the output, right? So if I want to see the tabular results, you can see the caret, cut, color, clarity, depth, table, price, xyz values, right? So what I can do here is I can go through all the examples for my ggplot's violin chart, right? So I can type in ggplot, and this time I will be passing in diamonds dataset. So if we select AES, X set to cut, and let's say Y set to price, right? Okay, and if we go by this data alone, we would be able to get some data, right, for our violin chart. So let's run this. You can also see how it looks now. So here you see it's basically diamonds quality check, you can say, for the price. So cut is fair, good, very good, premium, and ideal. So it should draw the violin chart accordingly. Also the price would be reflected on the axis as well, right? So what if you want to change few parameters here? For example, say if I want to set field set to cut, right? So not color, cut. So for cut it should show me some colored values, and you can see on the right hand side immediately we see the legend generated because of usage of field, right? So fair, good, very good, premium, and ideal. So yellow seems to be the ideal one, which is in the extreme right side of our chart. So on the left we can see it starts from fair all the way to the ideal, right? There is one more thing we can change. So let's say if I want to change this color to cut, so it should be a lot different than the field, right? So if I run this, here you see on the right hand side the color for cut, we didn't see much options on the field side, only we are getting the border. Again the legend is on the right hand side showing us the colored border for fair, good, very good, premium, and ideal, right? So that's one thing. Okay, so what we have done so far is we tried two data sets, one being our warp breaks, second being our diamonds, right? So both of them are good for this particular violin chart, right? You can tweak few values and get the respective charts. There are more customizations you can do with feel, and also you can use the color cut option for the diamonds, right, and get color for both your violin as well as its border, right? So this is pretty much two examples of violin plot, and we are using ggplot tool library. There is also Vioplot package, but we'll see if we can cover that part as well.